Fleshing out a deep and exceptional science fiction story doesn't have to be hard. I'll teach you about step 2 in the Gravity Undone 5-step framework, answering the big 3. Each step in the 5-step framework will progress from the last. By the end, you'll have a world, characters, conflict, and enough left over to keep your audience wanting more. This is step 2. Answer the big 3. An instantaneous transport network allows worlds and space stations around the galaxy to be connected seamlessly via always-on portal gates. National borders mean virtually nothing, as people, goods and ideas spread easily despite any efforts of governments or organisations to the contrary. A doomsday cult has grown in popularity from the idea that the ease of travel and commerce is the first sign of the end times, and nothing will stop the destroyer of worlds. If you want a great story that grabs the audience by the viscera and squeezes, you need to answer the big 3. The big 3 are the questions that will build your world, involve your audience, and form your story. Without them, you'll find people just don't get it and will drift off. The first thing you'll need is a strong focal point. Go back to step 1 if you don't have one of them yet. Your focal point, the theory, technology, or social premise you've chosen, will affect society in some way. So the first question to answer is, how will society be affected? The world your story exists in will be created, moulded, and changed by your focus. Think about governments, trade, commerce, institutions, and religion. How will they adapt, change, or even vanish? Instantaneous transport over enormous distance will break so many of today's barriers, but some people will try to maintain traditional borders, while at the same time, other means of demarcating territory or sovereignty will form. Your chosen focus will have an effect on the crime rate, family values, and politics. Take some notes now on how the following will be affected. 1. Government. Do people vote? How do they vote? How are people represented, and what power does the government have? 2. Trade. How are goods and services delivered? 3. Commerce. How do people transact value? Is there a change in the backing for money? 4. Institutions. Think of education, religion, clubs and groups, and corporations. You've answered how society at large is affected. You've shaped your world and built the institutions that define and are defined by society. Now it's time to consider the individual within this structure. How does an individual get their education, relate to others, and how do they feel about the rules and roles that society, moulded by your focal point, has forced on them? If instantaneous transport has broken down so many long-held barriers, how does a person identify themselves? And how do they make friends or deal with situations they don't like? Every technological advance or social change has meant some sometimes big changes for the individual. If you answer this question well, your audience will have no trouble believing in the world that you have crafted could be real. Time to jot some notes down about how your focal point affects the individual. 1. Place. How do they identify with a place? Where is home? 2. Friends. Is there a change in the way people talk, interact, and become close? 3. Roles. Have the roles of the individual changed, and in what way? 4. Social rules. Is the individual bound by new or changed, unspoken social rules? Every innovation, technology, and social revolution opens the doors to further development. Where is this heading, and what possibilities are presented by your focal point? Put yourselves in the shoes of a futurist in the world you've created. You're looking at your focus as old hat and current tech. Your job is to predict how this will change or how it will be adapted in the future. If you were to go back to when the home PC and basic networks were being built, you might have been one of the few people who predicted the internet or something like it. Now you're standing on a distant moon, able to walk to the orbiting space station as easily as you can walk to your kitchen, which itself may be on another planet orbiting another star. So where do you see that level of technology leading? A vision of the world's future is necessary to add that spark of vitality and dynamic progress that encourages your audience to use their imaginations within the context of an already imaginary world. Answering the big three questions is how you turn your focal point of theory, technology or society into a whole world. Step 1 saw you choose that focal point, and in this step you've answered how it affects society, the individual and what the future looks like. Now you're ready to get stuck into step 3 of the 5-step framework. It's another big one, so get on it.